So I was browsing Dollar Tree's site while researching for a different video, and yes, there will somehow be another video on the Dollar Tree. That'll happen later, so don't judge me. When I somehow stumbled upon this page, Final Faction, and I thought, oh, this is just a landing page for their action figures so they can promote them. But then I saw that there was embedded videos, and one had a title that said Episode 1. Which sounds like there was more than one. Dollar Tree wouldn't make a show to promote their toy line. That would be crazy, right? Right? When researching for Final Faction, you get the IMDb page and the listing of the toys on Dollar Tree's site, as well as some reviews from a couple channels that review toys on YouTube, and I also found the Fandom Page, which it doesn't hold a lot, but funny enough has a single review at the bottom. This is from a user called Crippled Dragon 582, posted back in 2023, and he said, "Pretty cool for just $1." Thanks, Crippled Dragon, who also has a profile picture of a busted Dragonite, which that adds up. Speaking of reviews, the show is currently sitting at an 8.3. That means it is currently beating the Snow White live-action remake and Lilo and Stitch. This probably means the Disney execs can learn a little bit from Dollar Tree on this one, or just go outside, and touch grass and stop shoveling us with the nostalgia break that no one wanted. Oh my god, is that Toy Story 5? What is this one gonna be? The gang meets Andy's fleshlight? Fuck, did I write that? I mean, I'm fucking sick in the head. The only other new information we can glean from these sites is the creators Elizabeth and J.D. Schwartz and writer Toby Osborne, which for the Schwartz, when looking at their IMDb pages, seems to be their first and only rodeo into anything in the entertainment scene. As for Toby Osborne, he seems to have written for several movies and short films, none I know, but he do be writing. Trying to Google search their names with Dollar Tree or Final Faction in any capacity just brings up the same listings as before. We also get a glimpse at the cast, which was handled by Rogue Productions, which includes, oh my god, is that Patrick Seitz? Dio himself?
I'm going to roll all over you!
This man is just about anything gaming or animation related and has a very recognizable voice. Okay, wait, this cast is actually goated. They even got Kellen Goff, who I know for voice acting Fiddlesticks in League of Legends, and yes, I play League. I've been playing it for years. Am I good? No. Everyone else will know him for playing the voices of Glamrock Freddy and Funtime Freddy in the Five Nights games.
Well, hello again!
We also got Chris Hackney, who voices Arthur and Zala in my second favorite Gundam, Gundam Seed, and Billy Kamitz, who voices Josuke from JoJo. How did DT, yeah, me and Dollar Tree on nickname basis now, jealous? How did they land this cast? I only mentioned the ones I knew by name, but all the other cast members have been in just as much stuff, if not more. I know I've been yapping and we haven't even gotten to the show part of the video yet, but the rabbit hole just kept sucking me in. Each episode opens with a blurb from the site being voiced by Dio, and that's all I can think about now hearing it every time. Pretty much what is said is that the moon got hit by a space rock, and in the dust kicked up was the hibernating alien mothership that housed the Khan. Now they are pissy after waking up from their nap, so they wanted to take all the Earth's natural resources for themselves, and the only ones on Earth that can save them is the Final Faction. We're all caught up now. The show is called Final Faction, but the main team is Alpha Team 1, and they are made up of 8 core members. We got Steadfast, Rook, Shift, Scope, ACRM, Steel, and Torn, as well as some supporting cast members that are just one-offs that show up randomly. Kind of like in the original G1 Transformers, where there were some one-offs that showed up out of nowhere and they were never to be seen again. Wait, there were
93
characters? Hot damn! How many wacky vehicle bots can you have? I guess you gotta sell toys somehow, right, Hasbro? Quick thing, whoever's in charge of the playlist on YouTube, you are dropping the ball. The first episode listed in the playlist is episode 2, and then a filler that is supposed to be the in-between between 1 and 2. Then we get episode 1, a trailer for episode 3, and then episode 3. It's just all over the place. So what I just said is true, as I watched the playlist that the embedded video took me to from the site. But turns out there is a channel called Final Faction, the animated series, that also has the videos on it, and has way more views on them than the DT channel, which makes me believe this is more known than I thought based on the view differences, but I just didn't really see anyone talk about the show, but just the toy line. My question is, why were these uploaded to 2 different channels? And why not have the one on their site directed to the more popular channel that is dedicated to the show? I feel like the more I look into this, the more questions I have, so let's just see what this is all about. Episode 1. Earn that cookie. We open with our first look at the team as Steadfast is making cookies. Just right off the rip, the animation looks like moist clay, and like that shit looks like it needs to go back in the kiln to finish. It just looks wet in every shot, especially on the faces. But you know what? Still smash. When he pulls the cookies out, some are what we like to call normal looking cookies, and the others look like gray blobs. We don't get to look at these cookies long, as Ruck just starts absolutely pounding those cookies like, damn Ruck, take them on a nice date first. And then Ruck speaks.
Your cookies are worth it, Sarge.
And now I remember that they are all from different countries. Steadfast from the US of A, Ruck from Austria, Steel from Africa. Where in Africa? I don't know. That's just what the site says. We'll just say here. Perfect. We got Shift and Scope from the mountains of East Asia, which again, why so fucking vague? Like, I get it, they're going for the Black Widow and Hawkeye look for these two, but no one here has an accent specific to their region but Ruck, which makes it odd that they even had everyone be from a different cultural background. Even the dog, who was a Chihuahua. And last but not least, there is Torn, who is just a shape-shifting being that hopefully we'll learn more about later. Back to the episode, Shift has this weird power called Prevision, which is just like Spidey sense, and I know that's what they were going for because they even do like the little comic lines off of her head when it happens. The only pre they're going to be getting is this nut. She does this backflip off the chair in this moment, and the whole time it's absolutely silent, but not like a holy shit that's cool moment, like the editor forgot to add some sound here. Literally anything, man. This happens at other moments as well, where there's just like no sound in the background or even any music, and it just feels off. And the sound effects, when played right after, are so loud it makes the silent parts so much more noticeable.
All that posing got you falling behind, bro.
That makes 23 for me.
Back to the team, and oh, there's the team's dog. God damn, look at those eyes. It's like looking into my soul. Let's play a game called What's That Pet's Name? We got A, Rex, we got B, Waffles, we got C, Churro, and we got D, it's Churro. Of course it's Churro. The Chihuahua on the alien fighting team is named Churro. Just then, an alarm goes off and has the team strike their ready-to-roll poses as they look stiff as hell. Rourke looks like he's holding his shit from all the cookies he just ate, and Shift has the most lifeless facial expressions, all while the 1990s feeling Linkin Park is blasting. I'm expecting to see some barnacles appear at this moment. They roll out and go to help some hikers who look to have gotten themselves into a... No joke, I had to pause on this frame and evaluate what I was seeing. What looked to be 3D models ripped out of a not-so-kid-friendly video, just generically waving at the camera. I had to take a break. I was only 2 minutes and 34 seconds into the first episode, and I have to rethink my life choices. Was this worth it? Was I wasting my time? Did I put the trash to the curb like I remembered? Fuck. I didn't. Now we have to survive another week with an overflowing trash can. Guess I'll get back to watching the video. We get to see the team's AI here named Echo, and he's here all right. Definitely no Jarvis. We also now get to see a real look at the Khan. They come in 3 variants. Synthoids that look like a jet engine with a face, the Brutes, who look like they didn't make the casting tryouts for Doom Eternal, and the drones, who are just dumb cannon fodder. Alpha Team launches these battle mechs onto the field, and the dust cloud animation just looks off. The way it quickly appears and disappears like one massive blob, this being the first fight scene, really shows the holes in the animation for the show. They had more of the comic book action words on the screen, as well as these quick stills of the team as they are fighting, kind of like in Sly Cooper 2 when the gang is being introduced. This is fine in itself, but it happens in every episode to every team member we've already been introduced to, which I think is just a little redundant, but you know, gotta sell them toys. But then we get to another part of the animation that is not the best. All the gun effects and smoke and explosions are all done in 2D, which is really off looking in a 3D animated show. They add color to the effects too, like yellow and green, so they are very noticeable and very distracting on screen. The fight continues on, and we get to see another character not introduced in the opening scene or the rollout scene. ACRM. He is piloted remotely by a 15-year-old child named Boyd. He breaks it down after taking out a few enemies and then hits us with this. We see Ruck and this man just starts blasting. Then he gets dogpiled on in. I'm sorry, did he just drop a martyrdom on these guys and live? Like, what the fuck, Steadfast? Feed this man. Oh, that's right, the cookies. They do the cute number counting thing every time they take down a bad guy that the Lord of the Rings shamelessly stole 18 years earlier.
That still only counts as one.
Shifting gets a spidey sense and we get to see the main big bad appear, General Diable. And he really doesn't look that much different from the other Karn if we're going to be honest. There's a different baddie that appears in the next episode that has a completely different design to the other Karn. So why does he just look like a large drone? No class, DT. No class. Diable talks some shit to the team and they respond with, as long as we stand together, bullies like you will never win. And then the episode ends. What? That's how it ends? Why did the general come down to Earth if he wasn't going to fight? Just so the team could hit us with some fucking bullies aren't cool line like they are the kids from Dare? D, I won't do drugs. A, won't have an attitude. R, I will respect myself. E, I don't fucking remember E. Then when the screen goes black, did he just like awkwardly walk back to the beam and go into the ship? I don't get it. That was episode 1. I'd give it a solid 2 out of 5. I'll save my final thoughts at the end for all of it. Let's move on. Episode 2, Arctic Attack. Oh shit, does that say episode 2 came out almost a year later? And episode 3 was over a year after that? Why so long between each release? I'm out here wanting to freak out having to wait week to week for Severance episodes. Couldn't imagine waiting a whole fucking year, like damn. Like fuck, I need to know what Cold Harbor is. I don't need sleep. I need answers, Dan Erickson. Anyway, we open with Dumb and Dumber stealing ice from the Arctic, but oops, they end up taking a whole ass polar bear family hostage. While that is happening, Steadfast is Betty Crockering it up for the gang again with some slushed ices. Scope complains about the trip they had planned to go snowboarding has been canceled due to the Karn and who's that guy? Who's that guy? Did someone's grandpa walk in here by accident? You're not even part of the limited edition toy set, man. What are you doing here?
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
I love the young people.
While he doesn't get called out as a new team member, we have this baddie come through the door named Amari, who just came back from helping Omega Team on a mission. This now explains why the group is called Final Faction, but the squad we follow is called Alpha Team 1. Like any good military faction, they're going to have groups that make up the whole, which is a good way for them to bring in new characters out of nowhere, like Old Man Jenkins there. Before any more discussion can start, the alarm goes off and the whole team mobilizes with them striking the action poses again that we saw in the last episode. And there's the old man's name, Riptide, which I assume is the Aquaman of the team. Aquaman. I'll give us the rundown again on what we saw earlier, and we see Torn just kind of lurking in the hallway like a guy about to ask if I want to try ketamine. Steadfast sees him and Torn asks to go on the mission, which I didn't see him ask last time when he was on the mission, nor did I see him in the ship when they arrived, so why even ask? Whatever. He agrees and the gang takes to the air with Ruck, making just another dumb joke.
Like fishing, right? You know what you catch when you're in the Arctic.
Char, cod, haddock, salmon.
No, you catch a cold.
But hey, I've made many jokes in this video so far, but mine were classy, right? On arrival, the gang drops some heavy weapons and a vehicle for the squad. They head after the Karn with Riptide approaching from below. We see here that Riptide has a little octopus with him named Kraken. And let me tell you, I would die for that little slime blob. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Rook starts blasting here, and the explosion, while still with the 2D layer on it, looks way better than the prior episode. I could tell that the low-light shots look better too, like when Steadfast was talking with Al and in the mobilizing montage we saw in the earlier. This montage was a little different as well from the prior one, as while they are still striking the same poses and they still look like they got shit brewing, they lowered the volume of the sound effects they made when they struck the pose and updated the lighting and textures a little bit, but also gave everyone nameplates. I think they're finding a groove here with the animation. Maybe that year in the oven helped. Oh god. Maybe I spoke too soon. I can see all the pores and texture lines on his face. He looks like a raisin. Get this man some CeraVe stat. The team go after the ice block that is currently being taken and ride up with it. Riptide attempts to stay lashed underneath the block as it rises and falls back into the water, defeated.
Hello, darkness, my old...
The members still on the ground hold off the forces as we cut back to where the rest of the team arrives on the mothership. Ruck's first suggestion is just to blow the fucker up like, damn, they made the wrong person the American because Ruck is definitely one at heart. Steadfast shuts that down though and mentions that the mothership is Earth's moon, and just like how Earth can't survive without the moon, the Karn can't survive without our resources, and says we will have to find a way to coexist. We're gonna have to take a pause here because what he just said is whack. Besides the fact that he said the goal is to coexist on Earth together, do you think the general who just said this?
The Karn will win this fight and drain this pathetic planet of every last resource, just like in all the other solar systems before this one.
Is gonna do that? Not to mention, by a show of hands, who would want that? Put your hand down, Frankie. Need to put you in a facility, freak. He also mentioned that the mothership was the moon, and that's not how I interpreted the intro. It said, in the year 2050, a large asteroid collided with our moon, and among the debris, we discovered a hibernating mothership. That implied to me that the ship was hiding like on the dark side of the moon, or just below the surface or something, not the whole ass moon. I feel like that is a huge leap in logic to get that from the intro, or I've lost context somewhere. Maybe all those Coke Zeros are finally catching up to me. The action continues after this, and we land our eyes on this ugly motherfucker, Charybdis, the bounty hunter. He definitely looks gross as hell with the bug-looking eyes and the green slime on him, like he just came back from the Kids' Choice Awards, but at least he's distinct from the rest of the Karn. I mean, look at him. Blades on the arms, light-bending camouflage, infrared vision, dreads. Oh, god damn it. This is just a Predator from the AVP verse. He has a flea sidekick, I guess, so that makes him different enough. We see him lurking on the outside of the fight as he sends his flea in to just get punted away by Torn the second he shows up. After that, Torn just uses his eyeball thing to send the ice and the polar bears back down, and the team follows along with some baddies trying to hitch a ride down. They lay a smackdown on these guys and then use the Karn's bodies as snowboards to deal the final blow. That felt like some Looney Tunes shit right there. Where's Bugs when you need him? On the other iceberg that came down with the polar bears, Charybdis hitched a ride to inform Diabol of Torn, who seems to be wanted for a high price in the galaxy, and they devise a plan to kidnap Steadfast to bait Torn out so they can take him. The team has fully arrived back on Earth now from the iceberg, with Ruck making another shitty pun.
I guess those brutes just couldn't bear it.
While they are busting a gut at this terrible joke, Charybdis grabs Steadfast here while they are facing away from the beam and takes him up with him. Shift gets her spidey sense about this danger too late, as when they turn around, Steadfast is out of reach and the episode ends with a to be continued. And that was episode 2. I definitely think the animation looks a little cleaner this episode, not award winning, but a step up. It also brings some serialization to the villain of the week format that it looked like they were creating as they brought in Charybdis to the Karn's cast of characters and have the lingering thread of who is Torn. Not to mention they took Steadfast, which means they will not be opening with him whipping it up in the kitchen for episode 3. Too bad the audience had to wait over a year for the next installment, and it ended on a cliffhanger. That should be a sin. I give it a 3 out of 5 for enjoyment, but knocking it down to a 2.5 for the cliffhanger ending and for the year gap that people would have to wait to see episode 3. With how cheap these episodes are to make, why not just crank out more episodes? It feels odd unless the budget was blown on the voice acting cast. Not like every character gets a ton of dialogue. Each character maybe has a short paragraphs with the lines, and some have less than that. Like Riptide said 2 things this episode, and he wasn't even in the final shot. And speaking of the budget, what was the budget for this? Couldn't really find anything online for this, so if you know, leave a comment below please, because I want to know as much as I can about this show. Episode 3, Rumble in the Big Apple. We open with Amari getting the red alert and is informed by Echo that Steadfast has been taken and is being held somewhere in New York City. For some reason, Boyd acts shocked at this, but last time I checked, his ARMC was there fighting last episode. Wouldn't he have seen this happen? Or be in the damn return ship coming to get Amari right now? I don't know. It's been a year for the writers. Maybe they just forgot. Cutting over to Steadfast, where he's being held at the Statue of Liberty of all places, is being informed by Charybdis that he is the bait for Torn, who he also finds out was sent to spy on the final faction and is a Karn himself. Looks like he had a change of heart though, as Charybdis says he's a traitor. This would mean a lot more to me in this part if the fucking flea wasn't making wet noises the whole time. Like, listen to this.
Torn? Why would...
You really have no clue, do you? Torn.
It wouldn't stop making fidgeting noises and mouth noises in this scene. Why even add those in here? I feel like my ears are getting sucked on in a bad ASMR video. Back on the ship with the team, we see that everyone is big sad that they don't have their fearless leader Steadfast with them. And Churro over here looks like he has lost the will to live, like damn. Who said dogs aren't man's best friend? That boy is distraught. Luckily, Amari does one of Naruto's powerful speeches to get the team hyped to get him back. Then we get this weird moment where Shift has an inner thought, but it doesn't like have the inner thought audio effect on it, so I thought they just didn't animate her talking.
But how did they infiltrate the city without being seen?
Would that surprise me? No. Is it still odd? Yes. After the gang lands in, we find the Karn coming out of the sewer, which shows how they entered the city undetected. You know, because between the alligators down there and everyone's favorite clown, ain't no one checking what's going on down there. A group of them appear ready to fight the gang, and Ruck gets into a mech suit to fight the general. Which, they make this look like it's about to be an all-out brawl that is about to happen, just to have the single hit happen that wasn't even that impactful, and then we just see them walking away at normal speed. What? The team splits up as half the team stays topside, while the other go into the sewers, Ninja Turtle style, to follow the Karn. Shiv gets a spidey sense while down there and heads into a different area of the sewer where they see, hey, wait a second. They're in the walls. They've been listening. They're in the fucking walls. Riptide gets chased by 3 Karn, and we see him release the Kraken on them as he sucks the life out of them. And I'll say, just in this episode, we've had 2 back-to-back references to other IPs. Unlike me, who only does original references. Shift dispatches the others with the stolen weapons, and we see Torn peel off down a different tunnel from the team. Above, we see that Steel has located where Steadfast is being held, and it seems the bait had worked as a brute gets chased out of the sewers by Torn and gets trapped in a laser field. Cryptus sends the beam command to pick up the cage, and they float up to the mothership as the rest of the team show up. Besides Ruck, who is still fighting with Diabol in Times Square, where he blasts him out of his weird vehicle and makes another shitty pun.
Time to take out the trash. Time. Huh? As in Times Square? Get it?
We cut to the mothership where Torn is being held, and we get our first glimpse at the Queen of the Hive, Queen Malara. And then the episode cuts to black. Episode 3 down! Animation, same level as episode 2. Nothing better, nothing terribly worse. Left on another cliffhanger, but this time with Torn as the captured teammate instead of Steadfast, so another sin to the list. We did get to see the Queen finally, who actually looks pretty cool. Another one of those designs though that makes her look more demon-like than alien-like in my opinion, with the horns on her head and the spikes coming off of her. I'm not complaining as she looks the most put together of all the Karns, it just feels like they are not aliens. I also like the Ninja Turtle reference they had in there. I write notes as I watch these and then put them into a script, and I 100% mentioned the TMNT when I saw them enter the sewers, so seeing the pizza boxes and masks from them was enjoyable. I don't really have much else to say on this one as it was a little short and it was mainly fighting on this one. With that, I give this one a 3 out of 5. Now that wraps up the content. What was that? There's a comic? We gotta read again? 2 videos in a row? So the comic is called Final Faction First Impact Issue 1. Released in February of 2022. That means it came out after episode 2, but prior to episode 3, which I feel like this should have come out before episode 2, as it explains the random revelations that Steadfast put on us in episode 2. Or maybe they did it this way to explain more on what he just told us in that episode? I don't know. At the end of the day, this is to promote their Torah line, so best not to look too deep into it. As of recording this, the second issue hasn't hit the towers as teased on the back, and Dollar Tree has removed the listing from the site, so this might be all we're getting. The comic is very short, but does offer some story to the Final Faction that was needed. It opens up with us seeing Steadfast grilling out with Churro when an asteroid hits the moon and awakens the Karn. They start mobilizing to Earth instantly, where Steadfast starts taking on some of them. In this panel with Diabol, we get to see Torn lurking to confirm that he was working with them to some degree at the start. We cut around and see the other squad members also fighting the teleporting Karn and at different places on Earth. Like this one where it looks like Riptide is just a retired guy fishing on the docks and fucking harpoons this Karn appearing next to him. Later we see Steadfast wake up in a hospital bed after taking a beating at his home, and Shift is here to greet him when he wakes up. They seem to know each other prior to the team, which is a nice touch. We see this is how Steadfast got his cybernetics after getting hurt during this fight as well. Shift also explains that she now has her spidey senses and that it allowed her to look into the past to see how the Karn got there. I guess a better way to put it is the universe just beamed that shit into her head the second they came out of hibernation. She explains that they are the Karn and that they go from planet to planet and sap all the natural resources for themselves. When they got to Earth at some point in the past, a massive solar storm struck their ship, which caused them to stay in hibernation. This allowed time for rocks and space dust to accumulate around the ship, creating what we call the moon today. That's a little whack, but comic book logic, I guess. That clears that up, but on another note, is the ship able to move? If so, couldn't the Karn just leave Earth's atmosphere and fuck us over? I'm no scientist, but last time I checked, the moon is like fucking vital to the Earth. Pretty much them just leaving would mess the days up, the tilt of the Earth, the fucking seasons. Yeah, it would be cooked. If they just scooted out and left for a couple of decades, everyone would probably be dead and they could just roll up and take all the resources they wanted. Maybe they can't wait that long though, so they have to do it now, but if I was the queen, that would be my plan. Circling back to the comic though, we see that some bigwigs show up to Steadfast's room so they can build a faction as a final line of defense against the Karn. They have all the candidates' files laid out, and a mysterious man we know as Torn sneaks his file into the stack, which shows us how he infiltrated the team to start. We also see that Dr. Taylor is the team's tech person, with her being the voice of Echo and the one who gave Steadfast his cybernetics. She also made the little dog mech suit for Churro. We see the team we know and love assemble for the first time, then we go out and fight the Karn, and their first battle is Alpha Team 1. They defeat the bad guys, send them packing, and the comic ends with a to be continued like all the episodes do. So that was the comic. Nothing crazy like I said before, but definitely helps fills in some of the knowledge gaps, like how the team started, the Karn, and how the moon was the mothership, but also how Torn infiltrated the team. All good stuff. I even like the art style in the comic. As you can tell, they were really going for the Marvel comic group art style, where everyone just looks like pencil drawings with color. Even Diabol looks better in comic form compared to the screen, where he has better shading and more detail around his body. He looks like a threat here. The only thing about the art that doesn't look the best is Steadfast's face in some panels. Like, damn my guy, what did they do to you? He looks fine sometimes, and then other times it's like they got lazy and oh, that's right, it's the Dollar Tree. It's the Dollar Tree that made it. And that was all Final Faction to date. 3 episodes in a comic. Seeing as the latest episode came out in November of 2022, and that was over 2 years ago at the time of writing this, unless they are cooking up just the most diabolical episode, I think everything's been canned. They still have all the toys in the store for sure, and even have a limited edition set of some of them. So they're still going to sell the toys, obviously. I just don't think they're going to continue the to be continued of their show. We might get another comic out of it, as that has to be way cheaper than cranking out than the show, but the last volume did come out the same year as the last episode, so not looking too good on timeline. As much as I clowned on the show at parts, I'm fully aware this was made to sell a toy brand, so I wasn't expecting a diamond in the rough or a cult classic to come out of this. I knew it was going to be fast and rough, and I'm okay with that. I think the show knew what it was about, and I like to believe that the little references and the way the characters talk, that they at least had fun making this. But you know, fun is what it's all about. You gotta love what you do. Is there a grand lesson to be learned at the end of the day here with this and everything else? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay, bye!